Howdy folks, thanks for coming here and checking out this Fallout 76 video. So as we approach the end of the year, we already have a bunch of new exciting content on the way in December, with the new Gleaming Depths update which will reintroduce vault raids, 4-star legendary effects for your weapons and armor, and a host of new rewards and quality of life improvements. However, as some of you are probably already aware, coming in 2025, we'll be able to change our characters into ghouls. That's right, announced during the Xbox Game Showcase back in June, Playable Ghouls will be making their way to Fallout 76, and in today's video we'll be covering everything that we know so far, from unique Ghoul Perk cards, a new questline to become a ghoul, and some unique features that affect how you play as a ghoul. Before we delve into all the information, a big thank you to the data miners over on the Data Miners Discord for their continued hard work and efforts for providing the community with the information and images that you're about to see. The community over there do an incredible job with every update, and without them, videos like this wouldn't be possible. The team are always looking to inspire the next generation of data miners who would love to learn how to data mine. So if you'd like to join an incredibly talented team and community, make sure to head over to the Data Miners Discord. And for your convenience, a link to their Discord will be available in the description. To kick things off, it appears that Playable Ghouls will hopefully be arriving alongside another major update in early 2025. So realistically, we won't be waiting that long before the ghoulification process can begin. To begin the process, and confirmed by Jon Rush, creative director on the game, players will need to be level 50 or above to start the new questline, which as of now in the in-game files is known as Temp Ghoulification Quest. As this quest name is a temporary placeholder and still in development, rest assured the quest name will be a little bit different. However, it appears that this quest line will involve you discovering a scavenger named Lehman Price, who is suffering the effects of the ghoulification in the aftermath of an attack by masked bandits. He receives treatment from the responder's medic at the White Springs Refuge. However, as the quest does not have any dialogue in the PTS files beyond this point, this is all that we know as of now. In a recent interview at Gamescom, Jon Rush mentions that the devs wanted to be a simple process. Anyone over level 50 will be able to access a quest, during which they are presented with the option to become a ghoul. But with that being said, we did receive this Datamine quest animation, which does show the Vault Boy entering a chamber, taking a chem of some sort and then re-emerging as a ghoul. Following on from that, and naturally people will have some concerns over whether or not this transformation into a ghoul is actually a permanent effect, but you can rest easy knowing that becoming a ghoul is not permanent, and players will be able to switch back to being human at no cost. Ghoul player characters will be fully resistant to radiation and have 32 ghoul-specific perks. Instead of the hunger and thirst survival mechanics, Ghoul player characters will have a feral meter. Touching briefly on the radiation resistance, Jon Rush mentions that you have 100% radiation resistance, which may not sound like a huge deal, but if you think about it, a lot of people wear power armor to stave off radiation. So if I'm a ghoul and I don't need to do that because radiation doesn't hurt me, it actually helps me, then I don't need to wear power armor. And so with the existing suite of perk cards alone, that frees up 9 perk points. It's a whole different playstyle on its own. Speaking of a brand new playstyle and new perk cards, we can now get a glimpse into what some of these new perks will actually look like. As you can see from this image, we have new cards like Thick Skin. Your body now takes 10% less damage from ballistic attacks. Breathe It In, rad resistance is reduced by 50. United Ordeal, when you're in a party with a ghoul character, you gain +1 bonus special stats, and then also Arms of Steel. Your sturdy arms now allow you to reduce ranged weapon recoil, increasing accuracy by 20%. There's one card in particular I do want to hone in on, and that's the Breathe It In perk. Now, understandable, these perks aren't available to playtest yet over on the PTS, and more than likely we'll get to test them in January or February, so all of this can actually change before then. But as this card states, your rad resistance is reduced by 50, which if you take a step back and analyze a build like a low health bloody build, once a build like this reaches 20% health, you kind of rely on making sure that it somewhat stays in that region, and obviously the more rads that you take, the more susceptible you are to dying. I mean, just look at an event like Eviction Notice. If that rad generator breaks, bloodied builds drop like flies. So it kind of begs the question, does this change how low health builds will operate? Can you be a low health bloodied ghoul build, or how will a card like this work with a low health build? Now, Jon Rush does go on to mention that the team is still balancing ghouls, since they can both replenish their health and become more powerful the more irradiated they become. However, the primary focus from the start of the ghouls development development was making them fun to play, even if they're now having to make it so that ghouls aren't completely overpowered. So it kinda looks like that for a lot of builds, regardless if you're low health or full health, will need to make several adjustments to your perks. That's if you do invest into becoming a ghoul, which actually will be very interesting and something I'm actually really looking forward to learning more about in the coming months. Moving on, we also got a glimpse of some additional perks that will be on the way. However, as of now, they don't come with any descriptions, but we do have the likes of radioactive strength, glowing gut, radiation power, powerful presence, Bone Shatterer, and also Break Wall. But once we get more info on these perks, I'll be sure to let you know. A question that a lot of people will have, or probably have already, is whether or not if becoming a ghoul will have an effect on the world around you, and also the NPCs that you interact with. And the answer is yes. Jon Rush mentions that for future story updates or new content going in, when you're interacting with NPCs and making decisions, being a ghoul is going to be taken into account. That will absolutely be a factor. Things will be different if you're a ghoul. So this really makes things interesting, because once you play through questlines that involve factions that maybe aren't really in favor of ghouls, let's just say maybe the Brotherhood of Steel, it will be interesting to see how this will have an impact on how you progress through those quests. On a side note, I can't really see this having an impact on any of the existing quests that are already in the game, because obviously those were implemented well before this even started development. But as Jon mentions, this will impact future story updates and new content going in. So it kind of begs the question whether or not friendly factions will become hostile if they see that you are a ghoul. It was also queried if we'll see additional races being implemented after the ghoul. Jon does go on to mention that let's try ghouls first. Let's see how that looks. Let's see how that actually plays out. Some things in the game would really be fun to play as, but what it comes down to is what would it offer the gameplay experience? How different would it be from humans? How different would it be from ghouls? There's a lot of possibilities, it just needs to fit it tonally, and it needs to fulfill a niche that players really want to experience. So if things actually do go quite well and the feedback is generally positive when players become ghouls, it could look like that we might actually have additional races. We could even play as maybe super mutants, or even play as the Scorched, who knows? But as this has been a feature that many players have wanted, even going back to the launch of the game, regardless of which race we can actually play as, this will definitely be a major win for the game. And of course, if you'd like to read that article featuring Jon Rush's interview at Gamescom, I'll leave a link in the description. However, that's everything for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on the upcoming Ghoul feature and what kind of race you'd eventually like to play as. As always, if you found today's video informative, consider giving the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos. To our channel members and subscribers, thank you for your continued support and helping the channel to grow. If you're picking up anything over on the Bethesda Gear store and you'd like to support the channel, you can use my creator code BT76ROCKET until October 15th to receive 20% off your entire purchase. Until next time, stay safe out there in the wasteland, welcome to Vault 93, and I'll catch you all in the next video.